All right, good evening, world of Expat Explore. Welcome to another week of On the Road. This is episode 9. I am this week's host, Matt. I'm sure you know me by now. For those who perhaps joining us for the first time, our other regular hosts, of course, we've got the beautiful Victoria, the very loud Brandon with his very colourful shirt on this evening. And of course, the naked tour leader, Luke Watson.
Hello, fully clothed name.
That's your new name.
The naked tour leader.
Naked tour
I could
leader.
start a nudist tour company. It's just come to me there in that moment.
Just find all the best places to be nude.
Of course, if you are or have been joining us regularly, you know over the last few weeks we have had some of our other amazing Expat Explore tour leaders joining us as guest presenters. And this week we have the amazing Aaron Rogers. Everyone, a big round of applause for Aaron.
Hey.
Aaron.
Hello all. Thanks for having me.
No problems, mates. Look, Aaron, of course, you're new to the show, so we'll get stuck straight into things. Who is Aaron Rogers? Tell our guests a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm from Australia originally. I've been living and working over in Europe for about six, or if we count this year, this would be my 7th year.
We don't count this year.
Yeah.
We don't count this year.
I've been with Expat Explore for, again, this would be my 3rd year, but I don't know how we're counting things now. But yeah, been tour leading for about 5 of the years that I've been over here. So yeah, absolutely love it.
Oh, very good. And where are you now? You're somewhere a little bit different, aren't you?
Yeah, so I'm in Sweden at the moment visiting my brother. I was in the UK, and then when the lockdown started to lift and they're like, okay, you guys can move around a bit, my brother invited me over here, and yeah, it's been great. Weather's been awesome.
Did you get into Sweden no problems? Like, did they ask you at the border anything, or?
No, I didn't speak to anyone. Everyone, come on in. Signed up, being like, "Are you from Sweden? These are the sites you can go and see." Sweden's open, guys. If you want to come.
Wow! Let's all go to Sweden. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, right now it will be long daylight hours and warm temperatures.
This is one of the first times I've been here. I've probably been to Sweden maybe 40 times, but it's only the 2nd time I've come during the summer.
40.
And I got here on the solstice.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
Oh, so it was like the longest day ever.
Oh, did you?
And everyone's dancing around the maypole, yeah?
Was it Swedish Midsummer?
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, I had it
Oh,
on
that sounds beautiful.
Friday.
We're very jealous, Aaron. Mate, we want to get to know you a little bit more. So we're gonna, in our early episodes, we talked a few things about our favorite parts of Europe or things that have happened on tour. So we want to catch our viewers up to speed on those aspects of Aaron. Now, in our first topic, I think it was episode 2. We talked about our favorite coffee experiences in Europe. I talked about Greece. Brandon said no, the best coffee is in Italy. Luke went on some random tangent up to Belgium.
Mine was experiential quality rather than.
Yeah, Vic was on. She loved the Austrian.
So, Aaron, we want to know what.
So yeah, what is your favorite coffee, Aaron?
For me, I only started drinking coffee maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and I don't like terrible coffee. I'm not a quantity over quality. If I know the coffee is not going to be good, then I'll just skip it, and I won't have it for a month. So when I get into Italy,
It's always Italy, yes.
and It's my favorite. Honest to God, my favorite is the service stations in Italy.
Like I said, the first thing I do is stop.
Yeah.
Welcome
in.
to having coffee.
So do you have milk or no milk?
No milk there.
Yeah, no milk, mate.
Espresso, no sugar.
Pure coffee.
All right.
Life doesn't get
Alright,
much
so-
better than coffee in Italy.
So Aaron,
Brandon has a new good friend. That's good.
You could do with some of those. Yeah.
Must be a youth thing.
Aaron, what's your? Do you have a day song / morning song / get your group pumped song? And what is it?
I have a wake up
Or
song.
is it different? Yes.
Yeah. And I've used it for ever since I've been with Expat and for a little bit with my old company as well. And it is S Club 7 Reach.
Reach.
Oh, which one?
Sing.
Oh, that's a cool song.
I almost want to say to try and save
got it,
face.
yeah, I
like, no,
know.
that's an awful song, but I actually love it and it's a great tune. So
Yeah. Imagine just like being on a coach. Like,
It's just positive. People waking up, they're like, like I was just having a good nap, and it's like reach for the stars, like climb every mountain, like help each other out. We're all friends. And they're like, I want to go and have an awesome coffee or eat some pizza.
and let's go and have a coffee. Yeah.
Captain Good Vibes, man.
Good song, Aaron. Yeah.
Did anyone used to watch the TV show, by the way? That's something that I can only admit now that I'm comfortable in myself.
No,
Because I
none of us
loved
would
it.
ever do that.
Yes.
I don't think we got that in South Africa.
No, neither. I think it was an English thing, so don't worry.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, so on that one question I want to ask you, this is something we spoke about a few episodes ago, is whether you have any pre or post-tour rituals, Aaron.
Not really. Pre-tour, I normally stay over a friend's house. You bond a lot with the people on the tour. So when I do get back to London, I like to spend as much time as I can with the friends that I do have there. So there's maybe like 3 friends, and I have a cousin in London that lives in London as well. So I do try and stay with them all at different points. And when I get, before I leave, we go out for dinner and just relax, and then, stay up till 4 o'clock thinking about, oh shit, did I remember to do that?
I know that happens to everyone.
Pre-tour panic, man.
Yeah.
And then
Call it the
when
fear.
I finish the tour, when I finish the tour, the same thing. Go to a friend's house and take them out for dinner, or order dinner in and just relax.
Yeah, cool.
Put bags down.
All right. So, what about the fun question that everyone always wants to know? Have you had a particularly memorable mishap on any of your tours?
I'm going to say enough time has passed and I've become mature enough to share this one.
Yeah.
It's always the risk, isn't it?
The first year that I was tour leading in Europe, so I would say I was young and, for lack of a better word, drunk. So we went to a karaoke bar in Florence. Many of you may have been there.
Maybe.
Maybe once or twice.
Once or twice.
It happened to be a night when there was a taxi strike in Florence. So we knew that going in. I told everyone, there's a taxi strike, so you can either go back on the coach, or you have to power through everything until it comes around to like a decent time in the morning when the taxis start running again. And so the group kind of split. Some people went home, some people stayed out. I might have had a few drinks, and then it got to the point where I was like, cool, I'll go home. There was a couple of very happy people with me, and we went to go get a taxi. Couldn't find one. Completely forgot it. As we walked across the bridge, I was like, yeah, I always get a taxi over here. And someone pulled up and they're like, where do you need to go? We're like, oh, cool. Yeah, take us to this spot. So we're driving. Like, how lucky was that? We got a taxi. And then, where are we? Because even after a few drinks, I know kind of where we're going. And it was quite dark. And they're like, okay, you can get out now. I'm like, where are we? And this car tried to drop us off at Piazzale Michelangelo, which is kind of looking over, but there's nothing around other than the lookout.
Yeah.
So it turns out it definitely was not a taxi. It was just some guys that were they're like, oh yeah, give us like 20 euros and we'll take you to where your accommodation is. And I was like, apparently, yeah, sounds good. But they didn't want to take us all the way. So they're like, get out. And I said no. And I was like arguing with them in broken English and terrible Italian. I was like, I'm going to take a photo of your license plate with my camera. And then my phone died. So I got in the front seat and was charging my phone in their stereo.
Whilst arguing.
Yeah. I had, I think, 2 travelers with me. And I was like, you guys stay here. And they're like, we've called you a taxi. I was like, I don't believe you. And then this was quite early in the morning, 3 or 4 o'clock or something. And there was a stall open. There's normally when you go there during the day, there's like a bar and a tourist souvenir shop. Mm-hmm. And this guy at the bar was like, hey, yeah, I've got a friend that's a taxi driver. I'll call him for you. So we just sat at this guy's stall and we shared a bottle of wine with this guy at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then eventually got back to the accommodation. And then the next day we went back to Piazzale Michelangelo to get a group photo. And the guy was there.
Oh, amazing. Yay! And you were like,
everyone else in that night got home fine. It was just apparently me who thought that it's better to try and go across the to get a taxi.
Oh, Aaron.
To be fair, like I thought I was like, this could go to a really dark place. I was like, what is he about to tell us? I'm glad that like it didn't sound like the best of times, but it wasn't like the worst of times.
Well, I'll defend you, Aaron. That it sounded like you were trying to do the right thing. You know, you didn't go home early on in the evening on the coach and leave everyone else to their own devices. You stayed out. You stayed out and made sure everyone went home. So Aaron's the hero of that story.
And this is a certain bar where maybe the only bar in the whole of Europe where somebody is actually paid to make sure the tour leader has a very, very, very strong drink in their hand at every moment.
Yeah. You all know that person.
I've never met him.
All right, that's very good. We've caught up a little bit about Aaron there, but we want to start talking about 2021.
Yes.
As of course, the last 2 weeks we've been talking about the tours that Expat have given us that we can help promote, and that our past or people who perhaps are interested in joining us on tours next year, where you're going to know who we have. And Aaron, he scored a really cool tour. Back in 2019, they did the Discovery, so that's basically a first run of the tour.
Disco tour.
Somewhere, Discovery tour. Somewhere
it always makes me want to dance a little bit, like a disco tour.
Yeah, and we're all super excited, because none of us have done it.
No, not yet.
No idea. So, Aaron, tell us about the Rum Tour, as it's known.
The Rum Tour. So
the Rum Disco Tour. Amazing.
Yeah. It sounds good already, doesn't it? Yeah.
During the trip, you guys all make a Facebook group. So our Facebook group was a Rum Disco.
Amazing.
So when the company first said that this was going to be a tour, I was like, pick me!
Please, 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 please!
And was lucky enough to get given the tour. And I knew in like September or October for the next May, I think, that I was going to do it. So I researched as much as I possibly could and was absolutely buzzing before and still buzzing afterwards, because it's the most outstanding tour that I've ever done. But basically the reason why I loved it so much is just it's so different. You know, although each country in itself, you know, Spain is different to Italy and it's different to the Netherlands and Germany. This is just wildly on the other side.
Yeah, wildly different.
Yeah.
Isn't one of your first stops the Strategic Missile Force Museum? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. So this tour has 4 days in Kiev, 4 nights in Kiev, I'm pretty sure. And then on the way from Kiev to Odessa, which is on the Black Sea down on the coast, you stop pretty much in the middle of nowhere and you go to the Strategic Missile Force Museum. And it was Soviet missile base. And
So cool.
they have,
like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
You walk around, you can go through the museum part, and there is an actual missile there, which they are a lot bigger than I thought. I thought it might be like the size of a car, but it's bigger than a bus. Like, it is massive.
Yeah.
And then you can as well go down into the command center. So you have to go down like this little lift. You're cramped in, like 2 people at a time, squished in, and then you go down and you turn the key, you type in the code, and you press the button to launch missiles.
I believe there are some great photos of you, Aaron, aren't there? I think I've seen photos of you in there, Aaron, and you look far too comfortable at the missile control desk.
Yeah, it's outstanding because, like, I never really thought that I'd be in one of those places, but you can go down there and everything's still the same, and they tell you that, you know, the people that were there, they would sit there for 12 hours a day and they'd be seat belted into their thing so that they can't leave. And they just have to wait for the thing to come up on the screen to say fire.
Just in case it's like, push the red button now.
And,
okay. Beep.
And
Exactly.
Aaron, does it say who you're firing upon?
Well, it's whoever.
It's just like random attack.
Crazy.
But yeah, even there, it's not just the missiles. They have like abandoned like aircraft, military aircraft, and tanks. We got like a big group photo sitting on a tank, as we did probably 4 or 5 times on that tour, because there's tanks everywhere.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'm not sure if we covered it. Aaron, can you explain RUM? What does that stand for? What are the countries we're going to on this one?
So it is Ukraine, Moldova, and Romania, but doesn't have the same. Basic itinerary for it is you start in Kiev, you go to places like Chernobyl and the ex-president's palace, and you go up and down the river, and you have a great time in Kiev, and then you go down to Odessa on the coast of Ukraine on the Black Sea, and you go there for 2 nights, and then into Moldova. And on the way to Moldova, you go to Transnistria, which is a little autonomous, almost Russian-run part of Moldova. And yeah, 2 nights in Chisinau, and then to Iași in Romania, then Brasov, and then to Bucharest, the capital of Romania. So,
amazing.
Sounds so good.
I just asked, you mentioned Chernobyl, and obviously people have like lots of questions about like tell us about what happened there, like how this happens, what happens there now. But what I want to know is, I've never been, you personally, what does it feel like just to be standing there? Like, what is the sensation of walking around the sites? And that's the one thing I want to know. How does it feel like for you personally to be there?
Yeah, well, as I said before, I did quite a lot of research into everything for the tour, and in particular Chernobyl. But even on the way there, it's a 2-hour drive, and you have a guide that speaks the entire way about how it all happened, and I guess the interpretations of statistics of Russia was like, 300 people died, whereas Ukrainians are like 10,000 people died. When you get there, it's pretty wild because everything is just overgrown. It's because no one is there and no one.
Yeah, nature's just taken over.
Yeah,
Have you guys watched that Chernobyl miniseries?
Yeah, I've started watching that.
No, not yet.
It's very good.
Luke, watch it. Watch it. It's
everyone's been telling me.
really, really good. Yeah.
No, it
definitely.
is very good.
Yeah. Can I please go there with you, Luke? When you go there for the
Yeah,
first time, I need to be there when you get there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You keep saying this every time we talk about somewhere I haven't been. Vic just wants to come and watch my reaction to new places.
I think she wants to go with you to Chernobyl because she knows you won't get naked.
Yeah, I think he would. I think he would definitely would.
Okay, so I have a quick question for you as well, Aaron. What is Bran Castle like? I love castles.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, you obviously hear about it being like Dracula's castle.
Yeah.
And when you go there, again, we have a guide that takes you through, and there's, we'll say, a bit of embellishment about whether the real Dracula.
Hey, I'm all about letting the truth. Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. If it's Dracula's castle,
Brandon's number one tour.
I want to hang upside down too.
They're like, you've got evidence that Vlad the Impaler, who they say is Dracula, that he went through that area, but there's no specific evidence to say that he lived there, definitely, or he stayed there. But it sets the scene. It's like they needed a castle set, a dramatic cliff, and it has that. And you can go up, and it's got like weapons rooms and everything that you can go through, and it has fantastic views. So we went there. The day was like a perfect day, and the sun was shining, and it looks absolutely glorious in sitting there on its perch. But again, even if you went there on like a rainy day, I think that would just add to it if it was like dark and stormy.
Yeah, it's just like, dark and stormy, like Frankenstein's walking around.
Can I ask a question? I'm actually surprised Brannon hasn't asked this already, but what's the food and the wine like on the tour?
Food? Personally, a big fan. Oh, what were you going to say, Brando?
Oh, I was just going to say, because you have two main experiences on that tour, like the Moldovan meal, and then you have I can never pronounce it. You said it earlier, but Transnistria.
Transnistria, yeah.
Transnistria.
Transnistria. But you have like a lunch there. What's that like?
That was awesome. The food, it's kind of very like Slavic food throughout most of like the three countries, but it's hearty, it's warm, it's filling, and we all loved it. Pretty much everywhere you go, at some point, whatever city it might be, someone will come around and be like, vodka, have our homemade vodka. And for me, I haven't been able to shot vodka since I was 18. I soon had to learn pretty quickly how to like
put it back. Amazing.
Did you get to have some Moldovan wine, because they're quite famous for their wineries?
We go to a place called Krikova, and it is the second biggest wine cellar in the world.
Oh,
so,
I was
underground tunnels galore. And don't worry, you don't have to walk it. They have almost limousine golf carts. And
limousine golf carts and wine, yes.
It's right up our alley. Let's go now.
Yeah, no, limousine.
I'm getting flashbacks of the champagne experience, but like tenfold,
Yeah, why don't we have limousine golf carts down there? That's what we could do with.
Yeah. Just everyone should just leave them under the coach, and we can just take them.
It sounds like such a good tour. Like you said in the beginning, it sounds so different from everything else that we do in Europe. So
with the wine as well. The wine in Moldova is actually really, really good quality, but they can't sell to anyone. That's why we don't get it, because they were originally they were the producers for Russia, but then kind of relations between them soured a little bit. So Russia was like, oh, we don't buy any of your wine. And the European Union favors Germany and France and Spain and Italy, so they can't export into the EU. So they end up selling wine to like Kazakhstan for €2 a bottle, and it's premium wine.
Oh, wow! I want to go there.
Let's go.
Yeah, I don't know if we should let Brandon go there. He'd go out in a storm of high quality wine and we'd never see him again.
I would leave Moldova in like, I would look like a grape. I would just be like big and purple, just full of wine.
And we also had our wine tasting in the same room where Vladimir Putin had his 50th birthday.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty cool.
Could you feel the essence of Putin in there?
Yeah. I love how Luke wants to feel
ultimate power.
Yeah.
Did you ride a bear after that wine tasting experience?
I won't put anyone through taking my shirt off.
All right. So, Aaron, what were the dates that you're running that in 2021?
So I have the Rum tour, or the Ukraine, Moldova, Romania tour on the 16th of July, 2021. And I do also have a Great Britain and Ireland tour on the 31st of July. So just after that.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah,
two
very different tours.
Are there any seats left on the Rum?
I hope so.
Are there 4 seats?
Are there 4 seats?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the tour that I ran in 2019, we had a fair few people from expat on it. We had Carl, who's one of the founders and owners of the company. We had Jamie, who's the videographer. We had Megan from The Office. So whenever people would go off and do things, it was just like, hey,
staff party tour.
Great friends here anyway. Like, what are we going to do? What are we going to hang out?
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh yeah,
can't wait for that.
And
hopefully we can get there. Now we need to start wrapping things up, but we're not quite finished with you just yet, Aaron. We've got some rapid fire questions for you.
Bring it on.
They're going to come in thick and fast. I'm going to kick things off. So we just talked about the Rum tour, Ukraine, Moldova, Romania. What is your favorite of the 3?
Ooh, I would have to say Ukraine. Yeah,
Ukraine?
It's just the country is just wild. It's just so much fun. Everything's fun.
Okay, so on that, if you had to choose between going to 2 optionals or optional excursions, would you choose Chernobyl or would you choose the Vatican?
I'll choose Chernobyl. I'd go back there in a heartbeat.
Good answer, yeah. Okay, so one from me. Brandon said earlier, obviously, there are a lot of places on this tour where the names are quite hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Something that obviously as tour leaders we have to face a lot of work, but maybe on this tour especially, what was the hardest place for you to nail the pronunciation of on this tour?
Ooh. Oh, I'd probably have to say, I don't know. I kept on calling Yash Lassie for
Lassie. Maybe that one.
Yeah, but that's because I hadn't known anyone that had been there. So I did this tour. I hadn't been to any of the places when I ran that tour. And so I hadn't been there. So I was calling it Lassie. And then when I went into the office, they're like, no, it's Yash.
Yeah. But unless you hear someone else say it, how could you ever know? It's like, Vic with Macklemore for all these years.
That's his name.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a really hard one actually. Or maybe it's not, maybe it's really easy for you. So what about champagne from Champagne or Moldovan wine in Moldova?
Oh, Moldovan wine from Moldova.
Oh,
Really?
no, don't say that.
Oh,
They have to go.
It's converted.
It's a bold statement.
Okay.
It's
like from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I think I've been to 3 champagne houses in Champagne, especially on the Best of Europe tour. It goes there, and yeah, it's good. But I just thought that the wine in Moldova,
it's not a limousine golf cart.
Yeah. And it's cheaper.
It's €3 instead of €30, or 300 euros, depending on what you get. So yeah, it's fantastic.
All right, Aaron, you have definitely sold me, Brandon, Luke, and Vic, of course. We're going to wrap things up now and say goodbye. For those of you who are interested, perhaps in the rum tour, I'll put some information on the link. You can check out Aaron's page. As a reminder, the rum tour he's running on the 16th of July 2021. That's a goodbye from me on the Gold Coast, Australia, and I'll see you next week. Brandon?
All right. Goodbye from South Africa. Thanks again for watching and joining in on our Sunday chats.
Yeah, and goodbye from London here, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Yeah, and bye from me here in New Zealand. Tune in next week because I'm in charge.
Yeah. It's always better when you're in charge.
And bye from me in Sweden.
Thanks for joining us, Aaron.
All right, see you guys. Love to see you again.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.